the occupation of a black man and a black woman after he's, has grown up and everything is determined at birth. See, but it's all set up during the school, the tracking system and all like this. When they put you in school, they put you at a certain level and stuff like that. When you come, like you're going to be, if you look like you want to be too smart, they'll put you in a slow learning class. That way you get tired. They hope that you'll drop out or something like that. So when you reach the age where you have to go out and make the money for yourself, they won't have to worry about the competition of blacks. They won't have to worry about the issue of you might beat my white son out of something.
Like white people have been programmed against black people, have gotten black people, the black race of people programmed against themselves, and like black has always been evil, dirty, bad, and anything that comes out of black, honey, ain't no good.
Automatically not. A lot of people think, gee, I got this problem, but it's my own little problem. But it is not. There's nobody in this room that has a problem, but 50 million other people has that problem too.
Where you going? I told you soon that I was blowing, but you can't wait. You wanna run around hoeing with your friends. Hey, that nigga cheeks ain't got no ends, but I can see clearly now the dark side ends. I remember when we first met, everything was shit. A nigga from the south side, a shorty from the Springfield high. Shorty looking fly, right, Ty? I says hello, but that gets no reply. I'm leaning on the gate, I say hello, she ain't talking. Oh, you's a stink bitch, well stink bitch, you keep walking. Hey, I ain't no bitch, so now shorty you reply. Why couldn't you reply when the nigga said hi? And tell me, is this? As we zone it on back to the left and the right now. Everybody wanna come into the cycle when we pump on the L. It's real though, gotta keep it on and on and on. Every time we nigga put on, it's the licks, the one that make the road. She said, well listen, I don't know you from a can of paint. Well if you ain't no bitch, then why reply when you ain't? The conversation went on, kiss my bobo's man strong. I never thought twice that my wife would do wrong. I see her all the time, she's always home when I call. I feel like $1 million, we taking flicks in the mall. I had it going on, nigga, but only for a minute, cause it only took a minute for another to run in it. Had the birds and the bees, lemonade and iced teas. Man, I went all out with these, she was my main squeeze. Tell me, is this the part? Yeah. Everybody wanna go in my zone. Freaky time, bust me down. Everybody run around something. Now shorty rock, she had a nigga on lock. Used to bring her friends through to meet my mens on the block, yeah. Everything seemed love, yo. Shorty was the one that I thought of, so I never used to listen to the rumors I would hear until my man pulled me near, put a bug in my ear. Listen here, shorty over there with the smell, living fell just a little well. Seen her on the air with another kid who just came home from a bit. He grabbing on that ass, all hugged up in front the crib. See what I'm saying? Bitches don't appreciate nothing, man. $2 bitches with $3 haircuts, shit. Shit is worth it.
We didn't have anything. Like some kids would have 2 cents or 5 cents to go to the store and buy some candy or whatever they wanted. And maybe twice a year we could have a soft drink, you know, a Pepsi Cola or something. So I always imagined that when I got married, and we never had any candy, we never had anything except just the bare essentials because we were very poor. And I was always daydreaming when I got married. I was going to buy me a whole bunch of candy bars. I was going to buy me a whole bunch of Pepsi Colas, and I was going to lay on my couch in my clean living room. I was going to eat those candy bars and drink Pepsi Colas and read a book because I never had a book of my own, and that's what I was going to do when I got married. To me, that was the big thing. That was it. I was going to have it made with my candy and Pepsi Cola. Well, when I got married, everything went so wrong that I forgot about the candies and Pepsi Colas. Now I don't even care for them. I mean, they just didn't exist anymore, man. It was like another world.
Was it like you thought it was going to be?
No, it wasn't, you know, like, and then after I got married, I found out, you know, like, marriage wasn't what I had thought it would be like, you know, and like, even being around my mother and father and all, you know, I still had another, like, they'd fight and argue and things like that, but my marriage was going to be completely different, you know, like, we would have this undying love for each other forever and ever, you know, and we'd have our children, and we'd get us a house, and we'd do all kind of things that we've never done yet. We've been married for 10 years.
Always was under the impression when you got married that was the end of your troubles. You had you and your husband, and you were going to agree on everything. You were not going to make the mistakes everybody else made. You were going to just be one happy family. And it turned out to be so different that I said it's not even funny. I had no education to get a job, and I'm sure there must be hundreds of women in the world that feel the same way. They feel just like I did, that we need him, so he's mean and he's hateful and he abuses us and he uses us, but we are going to have to put up with him to be able to feed the kids and send them to school, and maybe then, you know, they can do better than we did. You know, and a lot of women are like that, where they figure they have to live with the guy to feed the kids, to put a roof over their head, when really, it's really worse than torture. It's really mental torture that you have to put up with this and sell yourself for a roof and food to somebody that you care nothing about. I mean, you don't even like them, but you figure that's better than going out on the street and letting your kids starve to death.
Oh, you dumb female. You know. And then it got repeated over and over again everywhere I went, you know. Like when you drive a car, you know, and you go into a gas station and, you know, you need to fix something, you know. Well, like maybe you don't know. If you don't know, you're treated like you're a dumb woman. Well, plenty of men don't know how to take care of their cars, but they're never treated like that. And if you do know, like I've started to learn some things about taking care of the car.
Taking advantage of you are.
Yeah, you realize how to take it, but also then the men start getting all upset because you know something and like. But it's the same thing about why it's so great to have women filming us, is because they're using technical equipment. And until I saw it with my own eyes, I thought it was something that men were born with, that they could work tape recorders, you know.
I never knew I was strong. I never did. It never occurred to me that I could be strong. Women don't have all the challenges to make them strong. Like a lot of boys fight, and that's encouraged, at least it's what boys do, which is a kind of encouragement, whereas girls don't do that kind of thing, so they never learn how to do that. Men act as if every woman is their prey, because a man will approach any woman on the street at any time of day, in any kind of situation, will say anything and assume that she ought to answer back, that she ought to pay attention to him, that she ought to just interrupt where she's at and focus on him.
I began doing house duties, the duties of a mother, I'd say when I was about 10 or 11. You know, and that was like washing and ironing, cooking and cashing my daddy's checks, making groceries. And I got out of a situation into another situation, And it was like, just like leaving my mama's home, getting my own home, and like doing the same thing. You know, like my day never ends, and like I get up, I feed children, get their breakfast together, clean the house, might do washing, if not washing, ironing. If not ironing, I got to go to the grocery store. If not that, maybe sewing. And by that time, it's dinner time. And I got to cook dinner, do the dishes afterwards. And then maybe about 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I can, you know, have maybe an hour or two to read or whatever I want to do.
My husband was, I don't know, the way he felt about women was that they were foot rugs under his feet, or just for him to use, or should be a slave to him. And I think for probably about 16 years, that's what I was, a slave to him. I started working in a factory. Well, he thought that was what I was supposed to do, working in the factory all day and then come home and take care of the kids at night. So for 15 years, that's what I was doing, working in a factory. When I'd come, I worked 9 hours a day, 6 days a week, and I come home from work and I was locked in the house because he worked nights, and he'd tie a string across the outside of the door to see whether or not I had gone out while he was at work. And I didn't really know that that was happening until several years later. I had no intentions of going out or anything. There was no reason for me to go out. But he thought I was going out on him, so he kept a string tied on the door to make sure he'd know whether I had been out. Well, after I found out about it, I was pretty upset. And so then I started making up my mind that I wasn't going to put up with that stuff. So I decided right then and there that life was too short to put up with that, and you just don't have to. In the meantime, I had met my husband now. He took me out of being treated like a foot rug for somebody.
And I find that all the time, the woman is the one that has the strength in the home. She is the one that does the thing. She's the one that pays the bills to keep her husband from drinking up the money if she can get it from him first. She pays the bills. She takes care of the kids. She sits up with them when they're sick. She takes them to the doctor. And all these things you're already doing, but you're just so scared. It's kind of scary to try to do them alone. But all the women really have the strength. It's there all the time because the woman really has the strength to keep the house together. Groceries in the refrigerator for me. Okay. Well, come on. Where's the milk?
Well, Mama, I can't think of everything. James was crying and Vicki was hollering. I want. So we can get it when we go to the meeting tonight.
Did you forget the bananas, too?
No, they were too high. You said never spend more than 10 cents a pound. They were 2 for 29.
Okay. Don't you put the stuff down. We'll put it in the other thing.
It was hard, real hard. In order for me to go to work was that I used to work nights in the county, and my husband would take care of them during the day. Because I remember there were times that I used to get home, sometimes 5 in the morning, and go straight to the kitchen, make lunch for my husband, and start to wash or iron or whatever. And by the time that I was getting ready to get a little rest, it was time for the other kids to get up and make breakfast for them. Anyway, there were times that I used to get 2 hours sleep. There's times that I used to get 5 hours. Maybe on a Sunday I used to get a little bit more rest. But I don't know. It's hard.
98% of the Chicano families have worked in the field. And we all know what it's like, and we all know that they don't have toilets there, and we all know that it's a very, very degrading and very humiliating type of work, working in the field.
You see, our parents were brought up where they seem to be too afraid of the gabacho, the gringo, so you have to stick to yourself. You stay at home and mind your own business. Don't get involved with the gringo. And I think we were being raised the same way. Now, I had my children. Now, when they come home with a problem, I was doing the same thing. Stay out of their way. Mind the teachers. Don't get in their way. I didn't want no trouble because I was scared. So what I used to do, I had nothing else to do but go and pray and light some candles. And what else did I know to do? Nothing. Because I don't have any education wherever I went. First thing they asked, do you have a diploma? Well, I don't. And work in the fields is all I know, or the cannery.
I've been in publishing for about 5 years, and I really had to go through the coals to get anywhere. I had to do that whole secretary thing for years, and I'm still, like, I'm pretty much still there, only now I reached a point where they call me an editorial assistant, but I'm still a secretary. There have literally been days, I can remember in New York where I sat at the typewriter and just started to cry, because, like, you sit there and all of a sudden it just hits you, it comes inside you, you know, that you've been typing somebody else's stuff for so long, and I mean, you have nothing to do with it. It's alienating labor. It's alienated.
Also, you're much more than a secretary. You have to fix the coffee, or you have to play these jokes with the men coming in, or you have to hang up their coat or something. Well, as a woman worker, it's just society itself oppresses you. So you're not allowed to do, it's not like like they say, you can't do that because you're a woman. It's just that you're not supposed to do, like they don't expect to see a woman doctor. All women are supposed to be nurses. To put a woman in a job is the last resort. If it's not a nurse or a teacher or something like that, something that society sets up to be a woman's job, a housewife. If it's anything that they've set up to be a man's job, it's too much, it's supposed to be too much. They make it look like they're thinking so much about our security and our health.
It's a real split in me, and I still fight it now. It's like half of the liberal in me that's saying, oh, come on, you're not oppressed. You know, you're this middle-class woman who's had all kinds of education and wonderful, cushy New York publishing jobs. You're not oppressed. And then the other half of me knows that I took so much garbage from him. Well, that I really did sit in that damn office and type all day long. And I typed his letters, and I typed other kinds of letters, and I fixed his file drawers, and I was hip and cute for all of his famous writers who walked into the office. But I was really being used.
The phone company is known as one of the biggest employers and most important employers for women. And for the operating room, all the supervisors are women. But all the supervisors above those supervisors are men. They never come in the room, you never see them, you never hear about them, but they're men. And they're the ones telling the women what to do. You have to sign up on a little sheet of paper to go out to the bathroom and sign back in when you come in to show how many minutes you were gone. They tape record the operators' voices, so that if they ever speak to a customer or show any humanity, get mad when some fucker calls up and calls them a bitch, then they're kicked out.
The whole thing just keeps women hating each other and women fighting against the other while the men sit up there and watch the game go on.
The head supervisors around there would oppress me as an individual because I didn't know my place. And they considered my place was to go around and sweep. All non-whites is all non-professionals, like the kitchen help, but that's the meal. Not only for the patients, but also for the employees of the hospital. On the laundry, the sheets have to be changed every day. The sheets have to be washed and cleaned and pressed and starched every day. To me, the occupation of a black man and a black woman after he's, has grown up and everything is determined at birth. See, but it's all set up during the school, the tracking system and all like this. When they put you in school, they put you at a certain level and stuff like that. When you come, like you're going to be, if you look like you want to be too smart, they'll put you in a slow learning class. That way you get tired. They hope that you'll drop out or something like that. So when you reach the age where you have to go out and make the money for yourself, they won't have to worry about the competition of blacks. They won't have to worry about the issue of you might beat my white son out of something.
Like, white people have been programmed against black people, have gotten black people, the black race of people programmed against themselves, And like, black has always been evil, dirty, bad, and anything that comes out of black, honey, ain't no good. Automatically not to be trusted.
Get 'em in, get 'em in. That sun is hot and plenty bright. Let's get on to business and get home tonight. Get 'em in. Auctioning slaves is a real high art. Bring that young gal, Roy. She's good for a start. Bid 'em in, get 'em in. Now here's a real good bride, only about 15. Her great-grandmammy was a Dahomey queen. Just look at her face, she sure ain't homely. Like Sheba in the Bible, she's black but comely. Bid 'em in. Gonna start at 3. Can I hear 3? Step up, Chance, take a good look, see, 'cause I know you'll want her once you see her. She's young and right, make a darn good breeder. Bid 'em in. She's good in the field, she can sew and cook. Strip her down, Roy, let the gentleman look. She's full up front and ample behind. Examine her teeth if you got a mind. Bid 'em in, get 'em in. Don't mind them tears, that's one of her tricks. 550 is bid, and who'll say 6? 650, don't be slow. 7 is the bid, gonna let her go. At 7 she's gone.
I got on welfare because I was pregnant. I had just got out of school and I had a job and I got pregnant. I'm not a married woman. And I didn't have an income coming in. And when I got on it, I received $47. That's after I had my baby, but which was 3 months after he was born that they gave me the 47. I was living on 50-something and paying the rent, the gas and light, the water and the garbage. And if I got some food, I was happy. Well, now, I fed my baby from going around begging. That's what welfare means. You go around taking handouts. You're no longer a woman. You're not a human being, really. When they say poor, they mean poor.
Did they ever tell you that you couldn't have a boyfriend or something?
Oh, yeah, they told me all that. But that didn't stop me from having boyfriends because they told me that. My mother told me things like that. And if I don't listen to my mother, what I'm going to listen to welfare for?
And I
children sporting in their suede and leathers and things like that. You know, I mean, and I'm just getting all this money. They're just giving me all this money. And I got an icebox and a refrigerator and everything, you know, washing machines, everything.
What's the truth?
The truth, I haven't got nothing in my house. And barely enough, she's changed the bed. And I got to keep the fire going all night to keep my children warm. And if I want to listen to myself, I can wake my children up and listen to them holler. And as far as food, I can walk in one good bare cabinet and look at it and wish for a steak or tomatoes or something that everybody else up in the plushest places is thinking. And I haven't got a ring on either finger. And I'm not going to get one as long as I stay on welfare. So welfare shucks you. And we know what it's all about. Because if any of these rich people ever get broke and go on welfare, I pity them. They're going to die. They'll jump out the window. When you're on welfare, you're just nothing but a little doggy to command. And I felt that way. And after I got the welfare right, I had a lot of anger in me, but I concealed it when I went down there because you had to be all smile and grin and almost in tears to tell the people you needed this and that. And once I joined welfare rights, I started feeling like a human being again. I tell people I'm a welfare recipient. I'm not ashamed of it. That's just the predicament I'm in right now. But if they ever give me half a chance to get off, they don't have to see me no more. When a woman gets the raw deal, you're not going to have to go down there and get her about welfare rights. You won't have to. She'll get to looking for somebody to help her. You get enough raw deals and you find out you'll go looking for somebody to help you.
A few other of the women here have said nobody can do anything for themselves as an individual anymore. You have to be in a mass for anybody to listen. You know, you can go down to the welfare and have a problem, and they'll just sit there and look at you and say, "I'm sorry," you know, and that's all. It's not effective.
More women band, especially welfare women, band together and clear this image up that they got so painted so dim of us.
The only way to overcome oppression is through revolution, and so we revolted.
What do you say?
Went on strike. Because of this strike, people began to notice each other more, and they got to realize that we all, like we were all out on the strike line, we all got tired about the same time, we all needed water to survive and food to survive, so they finally realized that, in a sense, we're all human, and we were all being oppressed. The professional people thought they had the upper end of the stick, and they come to find out that they didn't, and by the non-professionals and professionals getting together and talking it over and talking of their problems and things, they've got to agree on a lot of things. They disagreed on some things, but they agreed on a lot more things. And they all found out that they were oppressed people.
Well, at first I had never had anything to do with a strike and didn't really know anything about it. I just figured it was the people that worked at the plant was their job to maintain the strike line and fight for what they were asking for. But it seemed like the first 3 weeks, maybe for 5 minutes a day, I'd see my husband. So I decided to go down and see what was going on. Well, it was pretty terrible and really made me angry. I hadn't been there 5 minutes till the police throwed handcuffs on my husband because a scab car had hit him and knocked him down. And he, they put handcuffs on him like he was a murderer or something like that. These policemen come along, tactical squads comes along with their masks on and their long sticks and beat on people and push them back, and like people are not animals. You start hitting on them and they're going to fight back. Well, I started going down to the line every day and trying to get other wives to join me on the picket line. And by the time I had been down there 2 or 3 weeks, there was quite a few of us that was as regular as the permanent pickets. And sometimes when they were resting, a couple of the wives would walk with their own little picket signs that they'd made up. Like, we wives don't like scabs that steal our husband's job. Well, I think by even being there, it showed the managers of Pittsburgh, Des Moines Steel that the wives weren't just worried about the money that was coming in or that paycheck every week. They were backing their husbands in what they were fighting for, because I was standing down there fighting alongside with my husband, telling the police what I thought they were doing wrong, or that they didn't have to treat those guys like criminals, because they weren't criminals. They were just family men trying to make ends meet, trying to make a living. They called me a communist. Well, I told them if I was a communist, then I was sure glad that I wasn't a policeman. Or if the way I felt was communism, then thank God for communism. Well, during that strike, I noticed how so many workers were being kicked around. So I decided to start helping put out the right kind of stories for the workers. Because I don't have that much of an education, but we do pretty good. More and more women are getting angry about what's going on than ever before, and more of them are fighting against it than I ever knew of.
Women do get together every now and then and discuss problems like human beings. Men are supposed to be so great at that. So far they haven't did it. They'll even get to talking to Russian women, Vietnamese women, all of them. And I believe they'll come to a conclusion.
And I got out in the community and I found out there was other things besides what went on inside my house. So I got into activities in the community and everything, and then I got a job as an organizer and working on civic things. And then we were really happy. We are a group of poor whites, mostly women. Once in a while we have somebody, but not very often. And we try to get together and see what we can do for each other and how we can help each other to work out the problems. That's what we do for right now, for the immediate. Then we try to all learn what is wrong with the whole society that makes these problems in the first place, so that one of these days we might be able to do something about that.
When we first started out, nobody had any money to do anything with, so we first started to help each other. We started with, like, someone had a washing machine, but it needed fixing, and they didn't know how to hook it up. And then in return, somebody needed their car fixed, and the other party knew how to fix the car. And then someone would have a car that they could drive somebody to the doctor, and another one could watch the kids while someone went to the doctor. So we kind of exchanged with each other because nobody had any money.
And then we'll help each other with the personal problems. And then we're trying to change the system in the school. The system, you know how it goes, and all the little groups, you know, instead of everybody getting the same education, like if you're poor, you get shoved down in the third group, and if you're rich, or not maybe rich, but a little bit better to do, you get up in the top group so you can make it to college. And we'd like to change that. And we go on picket lines for anyone else that's in trouble. They don't have to be our group. Anybody that's in trouble, or anybody that's doing the things that we believe in, like anybody that's getting pushed around. Because most white people will not admit to being poor. They will not admit to having problems. They'll sit at home and die of something before they'll admit it exists. And that's one of the things that really has to be changed, is for people to admit they're being run over. But if they don't admit it, there's nothing you can do. So that's the main thing, that the knowledge has to get out and let them know, make them realize that what's happening to them.
Because so much of our oppression is put down individually. Like we don't even realize what goes on until we sit and compare it with other women and say, damn, the same thing happened to me. We find out over and over again. That's why, like, to break out of our oppression, you know, just what you said about the support, you know, they're so necessary. We have to do it.
Many of us have defined ourselves only in terms of men. We often think we have no identity for ourselves without them. We've been conditioned by society to always lean on someone else for our support, to be carried over the threshold.
We need the women's movement to know how to be good fighters, because as women we've been taught to be passive in the face of aggression.
For me as a woman, once I realize how oppressed I am, and I keep realizing it more and more every day, realizing one more instance in which I never knew I was oppressed before, there's just no turning back. You can't back out because it's yourself.
The way I feel about the war, you're talking about the Vietnamese. Yeah. Who knows? It's about money. That's what it's about. It's about money. It's about controlling the Vietnamese people and taking their natural resources. It's about fighting to keep that control. That's what it's about. Those people want to control their own land. This country, the government does not want them to control their own land because of money interests. And I wouldn't let my son go over there to fight to control that money, especially when he's poor over here.
My son's not going to be drafted. If I was a man, I would never go in an army and fight against other people. Those people are just working people and down-to-earth people just like we are.
I feel oppressed right here within my home, you know, the walls within my house. And I also feel oppressed because of the shit that's happening to black people all over as a whole, you know. And I got out with a number of other people in the community. We saw the need for a daycare center. We got out and we started a daycare center. I started helping serve the Breakfast for Children program.
And I'm sure that if there were more day centers for our people, more young mothers would get involved, and more young mothers would be out wrapping up the school and, you know, seeing that justice is done in the community and such.
Me myself, now you know that I've been involved with the Chicano movement a little bit. I find that I don't know. I think that life, to me, it's got a little more meaning than, even though it's hard, though, because my husband does not like the idea of me not being home, or there's times that he doesn't like for me to go to the meetings. As far as my life with the movement, I don't know. I think it's made a lot of difference to me. It's made a lot of difference to me, and then too, all my kids are involved one way or another. The one that's not too involved is my husband, but
How is it different? Or what's different being in the movement? How do you feel differently?
well, I feel that at least I have something to live for. Something not like the same thing automatically getting up and doing sending my husband to work or sending the kids to school or rushing around to pay my bills or whatever.
See, like, men get paranoid and they think, well, damn, these bitches, they want to take over.
Yeah.
It's not that. We just want to be equal. We want to share, you know. We want to do it together. We don't want to be 10 paces behind so that they can think they're 10 paces forward, because then nobody's nowhere. I'm for women for liberation. Doggone it, it's about time.
First thing I do is, if they let me be president for 1 year, well, let me see, I'll put it this way, if they let me be president for 1 month, I'm not going to be greedy. I would tax the rich so hard that when I got through taxing them, they'd have just the equal amount to live on, well, I wouldn't say comfortably, but to make it through, like the rest of the people are, and the ones that are so poor. You know, because, like, this is not only happened here in San Francisco. This is all over the United States.
The people that are ruling this country are not thinking about the people. They're only thinking about themselves and keeping all the money to themselves. They're not thinking about the welfare of the people. And that's the only way that things are going to be livable, is for a complete changeover to be made.
For people in this country to get right, the people are going to have to change the whole structure of this country, from bottom to top, from top to bottom. It's going to have to be completely reversed. The people in power now are going to have to be kicked out of power. The people that are controlling our lives are no longer going to be controlling our lives. We intend to control our own lives.
But the only way we can do this is to organize our people to the fact that this is no longer a free country. People no longer have rights. We never had any rights, but we thought we did. And now that people are realizing that they don't, we can begin to move on righteously changing this country.
And enough of you get together, there's going to be hell to raise. Because a group of people can do a whole lot more than one person can do or 10 people can do. When you get half of the people in the United States ready to tell them, you get your ass off that throne because we want it run like a country should be run.
I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom.
I feel like black people, all oppressed people, are tired. And like they're more educated now. And like they know the only way that they're going to get anything is to change the system, the whole system. They got to change it. And the only way that they can change it, honey, is through guns.
I think a revolution in this country probably will be a hard one, maybe a gunfight or something, because the people that have the money are not going to say, here, you can have it. You're going to have to take it away from them. And they've got control, and they're not going to just step down like people in other countries. The dictators are being killed and everything else. Well, it's got to happen.
When we're talking about what the power structure is going to give and what we're going to take, it has to be very clear to everybody, you know, to the power structure. There's people that are going to fight. So, you know, we can't have a Chicano revolution by ourselves.
We'd wipe out the Chicano
We can't have a black revolution by themselves, just like the poor whites can't have a revolution by themselves.
Well, I think the working people, whether they're black or Chicano or white, the working people should be leading the fight. They're the only ones that do have the means of stop production.
You know, if we're going to unite and we're going to all be together, it's going to be a black and a white thing. Hey, you got to accept me first. It ain't no me accepting you first. I didn't throw you out to do it first. You threw me out to do it, you know?
I woke up this morning learning, knowing, and I'm moving. I woke up this morning learning, knowing, and I'm moving. I know who I love, and I've learned who to hate. I'm gonna get on the move before it's too late. I woke up this morning no longer scared of trying. I woke up this morning no longer scared of trying. I hate being poor and feeling held down. Women